Blog Talk Radio.
Are you ready to take a bite out of the competition? Are you looking for ideas to make your business better? Welcome to the Core Business Show with Tim Jacquet,
sponsored by Apple Capital Group.
At the core of every successful business, you'll find people making a difference. And with each episode of the Core Business Show, we talk with those people, examine those ideas, and explore the strategies that make them special. Now, the host of the Core Business Show, Tim Jacquet.
Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of the Core Business Show. I'm Tim Jacquet, your host. Today I have an upcoming film director and producer, Justin Simien. I'm going to talk about his movie trailer and his movie that's down the pipeline called Dear White People. If you'd like to join in the conversation, you feel free to call in the next probably 15 and 20 minutes at 347-324-3460, or you can pose your question in the chat room, or you can email us at info@thecorebusinessshow. Justin, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. I guess to begin with, our listeners love personal stories from our guests. So if you don't mind, tell us where you're from and how did you get started in film?
Yeah, so I'm from Houston, Texas, born and raised there, and I always wanted to be a filmmaker. So I went to performing arts school there and did theater for 4 years and came to California to go to film school. And, did that. It was a very interesting experience. I went to a school called Chapman in Orange County, which is a little bit outside of LA. And from there, just kind of got internships and started working.
Wow.
Yeah.
So going to Chapman, they kind of gave you kind of basic foundations. Kind of tell us about film school. What is it about? Is it just like college or is specialized into a particular thing? Tell us about what is film school.
Yeah, well, Chapman's a university, I went there and got my bachelor's there. But I was a film student, so that was my major. I was a film major. I think it was film production, the name of the major at the time. And yeah, you have to, get all of your academic credits, but then, my film-specific classes, I took classes in screenwriting. I took a class called, acting for non-actors, which is funny because I was actually an actor before I went to film school. And, lots of directing classes, visual storytelling classes. And just kind of, worked on shorts and made things of my own for 4 years there.
Wow. So once you finished, before you finished, you went to a lot of interns. Tell us about your intern experience with some of the companies you've been involved with.
Well, to be honest, I actually had one internship in school.
Okay, no problem.
I was a very busy kid. I was photo editor for the paper. Like I said, I was a student, so I was also doing my senior thesis. My senior year there, and I also had an internship at Focus Features, which was great because the one thing I didn't really feel like I was getting from my film education was the knowledge about publicity, and I knew that my first attempts at filmmaking were definitely going to be, what they call specialty films, niche audiences, and I wanted to do a publicity internship, with a company that excelled at marketing those kinds of projects. And so that internship at Focus turned into a job at Focus, and that's kind of what got me started.
Wow. So going through your internship, and how did that prepare you to learn how to, I guess, prepare a movie, the whole production, because there's a lot of components that's part of this than just filming. Can you tell us about how that whole process worked when you launch a particular film and how that prepared you in order to launch your film?
Well, I think like a lot of things, have prepared me. The thing about movies is that I think film school is great and you can learn a lot and have a lot of experiences there, but nothing really prepares you to make a movie. To be honest with you, there's nothing like just the process of having to bang your head against the wall for years trying to get a project made that really tells you how to do it. I think what my internship and kind of career in publicity and marketing across a bunch of studios in the last 7 years has all been about kind of teaching me about all kinds of aspects of the industry, be it what kinds of scripts they're selling, what makes a campaign successful after a movie is made. I got my hands into a lot of social media and marketing and publicity campaigns. And so when it came time to, do my film, Dear White People, I knew to have my social media accounts all together. I knew to, if I was going to put something on YouTube, I knew to have a call to action at the end of it. Those are the kinds of things that I picked up. in terms of packaging a movie, the best you can do is just kind of read about it, ask a lot of questions, and then hope when it's your chance to do it that you don't mess up too bad. 'Cause there's a lot of steps, a lot of steps that nothing can really prepare you for except for just just doing it and trying to be present in the process and stay open and and be willing to learn.
Wow. So it takes a lot of work in putting this together, from this writing out the script, doing your storyboards and all of that. That whole experience, how long did it take you to put this project together?
Well, I'm still in the process of putting it together. I mean, the script, I began working on the script in 2005. So that was a while ago. The first draft of the script came in 2005. And I don't think I was a strong enough writer at the time to write an ensemble piece. And it took some years for me to, I worked at a TV show pilot idea once, and, it was several versions of the script. And it really wasn't until about 2.5 years ago that me and the producers decided, let's really go for this. Let's try and make this your first feature. And that was, a really lengthy process, just writing draft after draft after draft of the screenplay. And we did a workshop with some actors, and it was out of that workshop that we really felt like we had a movie. The reading was electric. The conversation that we had after it was so profound. And we just felt like the movie was ready. And, then after that, it was several months until we were able to pull together the trailer, a piece, which, at the time was really just conceived to pitch the film, so that when we went to meetings to talk to people about the idea, we didn't just have a script. We also had kind of like something that showed my vision for the piece. And luckily, we're smart enough to put that online, and that's kind of where a lot of the attention has come from since the trailer. Is from, just the buzz about the trailer being online. And, from here, it's really just about trying to leverage that interest into financing the rest of the film. We were able to raise a tremendous amount of money for the pre-production of the film. But that's just the first step, really getting the budget together, hiring the legal counsel, and just kind of putting, just kind of early bits in place for the film. That's the first step. And luckily we're there. But the second step is to definitely finance and actually get the film into production, what we're working on right now.
Well, perfect. We're going to take a break real quick, and we're going to play the little clip that you guys have out that on YouTube and some other places. So we're going to play that clip real quick, and then we're going to come back and bring us to the moment when you sit down in the room and thought about this particular concept, and how did you get that energy to make it live to what you have today. So we'll be back in a moment. We'll play the clip, and back with Justin Simien.
Cool.
Forget Hollywood and forget Tyler Perry.
Like, can we get a movie with, characters in them instead of stereotypes wrapped up in Christian dogma?
Yo, look, I want my $15 back for Red Tails too.
Most people are here to see Fang 9. And it's Kelly Rowland in it.
Dear white people, breaking news. The amount of black friends required to not seem racist has now been raised to 2. Sorry, your weed man Tyrone does not count. Dear white people, please stop touching my hair. Does this look like a petting zoo to you?
Hey, biatch. Your hair is so cute. Is it weaved?
Dear white people, listening to Flo Rida does not make you practically black.
What are you doing here?
They want me to do a profile piece on black culture at Manchester,
of which you are so clearly an expert.
Dear white people, dating a black person doesn't count if it pisses off your parents.
Did you come?
Yeah,
Dear white people.
Sam, your show is racist.
Oh, black people can't be racist. Stop dancing.
Agree to disagree.
Sam, what would you do if someone started to Dear Black People?
There's no need for Dear Black People. Cops, Fox News, and reality TV let us know exactly what you think of us.
Who does Scrub think she is, man? I don't know, dude. Spike Lee and Oprah had a pissed off baby or something. Every year we throw a party, and the theme is not something inordinately sensitive or otherwise stupid on campus.
Okay, so what's this year's theme?
She's running for house? Sam White's little movement's been getting a bit out of hand. You'd agree?
Of course.
You put her down aside.
We do not have a race problem here in Manchester.
Are you even in the Black Student Union?
You think I'm black enough for the union?
There is isn't a right way to be black.
What do you want? I want what we always talked about. Wife, kids, I want all of that. I really, really do.
That is our challenge. How to be bigger than black when there is no word for it, when there is no precedent in the culture.
Hey, nigga, what you got on right now?
Yeah, boy, Public Enemy.
Yo.
What?
You guys get country clubs, and we get to say nigga.
Well, that was a clip from Dear White People. Kind of tell us, I saw your CNN interview. It was wonderful. Kind of tell us, when you sit down in a room to talk about this particular movie, and you've been working on this for the last several years, how did you come up with the title?
Oh, I think, the movie was called 2% for a while, because it was about the college where only 2% of the population was black. And I think I was never in love with that title, and I don't know what it was, but I think it was years later when I was in the workplace, and I was just kind of feeling the same way that I felt in college, of like, wow, being the only black person in this mostly white environment, has a lot of interesting stories to say. And I want to say, like, this is going to sound so terrible, but I want to say it was like, the 14th time someone had forwarded me, somebody doing a single ladies video or something. And I think I wrote back, sarcastically, I was like, dear white people, the single ladies dance is dead. Please, hang up your skirts and turn your YouTube cameras off. Something like that. And my friend really chuckled at it. And I realized that, I was kind of channeling this character in my script. Her name is Sam, and she's kind of the person who starts the Dear White People radio show on campus. And I decided to kind of, what I decided to do when I kind of like went really hard on the script and was really dedicated to getting the draft ready, I started a Twitter account called Dear White People, really to test jokes and really to like kind of beat out Sam's voice and to kind of see how she would be received, And once I started doing that, it was just like, obviously this is the title. Like, this is like, I remember when I told one of my producers, like, the title, she went, whoa, definitely going to get people's attention. And, I think all people have to do is say the title and you'll either get a chuckle or you'll get a concerned look. And that's kind of the point of a movie title, is just that instant, like, should hit your ear a certain way. And so that's just kind of what it became.
Wow. What is it like channeling a particular person that is just part of you and you putting that into reality? I mean, how do you actually sit there and channel a particular idea and just keep pushing that idea over and over and making this person a breathing real character?
I mean, the hardest part about writing to me is just like facing your fear. Honestly, like, that's going to sound really whatever, but I think we all have the ability to sit down and channel something, because the truth is, all the characters in the movie, they are different aspects of me, and they are me at different times in my life. And so to just sit down, in front of a computer screen or in front of a canvas or in front of whatever your medium is, in front of a microphone on a radio show, whatever your thing is, and be honest, that it's really just about facing your fear. Like, procrastination, I'm a big believer that procrastination is really just fear in disguise,
Wow.
And that was the hardest thing, really, is to just be like, no, I'm not going out. I'm not, meeting up with my friends. I'm not going to this dinner. I'm not doing anything on my day off, but I'm going to sit in front of this computer screen and I'm going to write. And if it comes out bad, then so be it. And I'm just going to keep doing it until it's good. And that honestly is the hardest part, just getting over the fear that it's not going to be great and to just try to let whatever that stuff is inside of you come out, That's the hardest part for me, The easiest part is the idea, because the idea kind of just comes to you, like when you're open to it. When I'm open to it, like the ideas kind of come, naturally. And if I'm stuck in a certain aspect of the script, it's really just a walk or a shower or some sort of activity later, and an answer will kind of present itself. But I have to first get over the worry and the concern and the fear of it all to really let that happen.
Wow. So even if you take all of this and all these particular ideas and you put them all together, when you put them together and you have your film project, the biggest thing about you mentioned about fear at the very top of the hour. What was in you to say, I'm going to go full steam ahead and I'm going to go and push this all the way through and I'm going to give it all my all, and whatever happens, happens?
Well, when I was in film school and if, it was a very white school, and not only was it very white, and I've always had friends of many different races, so it really wasn't that. It was the fact that these particular students, a lot of them had never really met Black people before, really had no cultural experience outside of their own culture. And I just started thinking like, wow, this is a unique situation that I'm in, but it's also universal at the same time, because I know I'm not the only one who feels how, isolating this is. And I just started collecting these kind of anecdotal stories in college and felt like, I don't know, there was something inside of me that this could be a thing. Like, this is like something that hasn't really been talked about in the movie. The Black college experience has never really been discussed in this particular way and with this particular voice. And at the time, I just got excited about that as an idea. And then later, once I was in professionally, a little bit more advanced and a little bit more experienced as a writer and all that, I don't know, I just felt like it was really new. And I felt like a new discussion about race identity was already kind of bubbling up in the zeitgeist. And it was happening in TV with Dave Chappelle. It was happening in politics with the whole birther movement with Obama. It was happening in books, from How to Be Black to Who's Afraid of Post-Racial America by Touré. It was happening everywhere, but it wasn't happening in film. In film, we were getting one or two kinds of movies consistently in the past 10 years. And I don't know, I felt like this was the time for this movie.
Absolutely.
I felt like it was a great debut feature film for me to try and pursue. So I just went for it. I had that voice in my head telling me to go for it. And, despite all the odds, because the odds are certainly not with you if you're trying to make an independent Black film, and I just did. And that's what's gotten me to where I am right now.
Wow, it was really amazing. We go back 25 years and we look at people in the industry that influence you. Who were your influencers?
My biggest film influence is Stanley Kubrick. I mean, really, it was watching his films as a teenager that really kind of showed me that movies could be more than just entertainment, that movies really could be statements about, human nature, about the human condition. Obviously, I'm a huge Spike Lee fan. I mean, Do the Right Thing to me is probably the most articulate movie in terms of discussion about race that there is. I think the film is brilliant. I think Spike Lee is brilliant. And, I'm a fan of Wes Anderson. I'm a fan of P.T. Anderson. I'm a fan of Fellini. I'm a fan of auteur filmmakers, people who have very specific, perhaps personal visions that are sometimes flawed and sometimes brilliant, but those are the kind of people that I follow, and that's the kind of career that I'd like to have.
Wow. We talk about also during that time in the 80s, Spike Lee first came out with the movie She's Gotta Have It. It was low budget, but however, and it was, I think, black and white, but it took the whole market by storm. And then, of course, he came with some other productions, but this was a low-cost movie that he got to print. You've been looking at the Blair Witch Project. That's another specialty type project that made millions in this particular niche. Your particular niche itself that you kind of try to portray, how do you think, for example, if your particular movie, when it comes out, is going to hit a certain audience, and that particular audience itself, what do you think where we are? Because it's several dimensions of African Americans these days. What dimension you think that's going to appeal to? Is it going to be the young adults who's maybe from college, or is it going to be the middle-aged African Americans? Tell us what particular market this one's going to be geared towards.
I mean, I think the conventional wisdom is that it's it's late high school to early career, right? So it's 17 to 25 is probably Black folks is probably the quote unquote target audience. And when I say quote unquote, I mean that's the primary marketing focus. But I will say that when you look at the response the trailer has gotten in our Indiegogo campaign, it is people of all ages, of all races. You know, we have a lot of white fans, a lot of fans who are not black, who do not have that specific black experience. But I think that there is something really universal about feeling different than what the culture says you are. And, you know, that is not just a black experience, and that's not just a young black experience either. And, you know, I think one of the things, like one of the most profound things that someone said to me, you know, this is an adult black woman, you know, she said the reason why this movie strikes a nerve is because a lot of black people feel multicultural. Like black people don't feel just like I'm just a part of black culture. Black people don't feel that way anymore. That's an outdated mode of thinking. You know, black people take on aspects of many different cultures, and there's an awkwardness about it. You know, some people have shame about it, and it's something that people talk about amongst themselves, but it's never really been addressed publicly. And so I feel really confident the movie's going to connect with a lot of people, you know, because although I am telling a story about this group of college kids, you know, this college world is a microcosm. It's really about the American experience. You know, it's really about America, the black experience in America, but it's just through the eyes of these kids. Wow. So obviously, like from a marketing standpoint, obviously we want to hit the college markets, and obviously there's going to be a lot of love there. But I really do feel like the film has the potential to cross over to different audiences as well.
In social media, and you marketing this film, how are you marketing it? I know you're really big on social media, and you do have a funding source as well. You also can mention how you're marketing right now and to get the energy.
I mean, to be honest with you, like so much of my energy right now is on trying to get the movie made. You know, the engine is really kind of pushing itself at this point. You know, I think like my job as a filmmaker is to be authentic and to tell my best story. And if I do that, then hopefully people will show up. And all the avenues are in place. Our Twitter account in place. You know, I'm obviously talking to you, talking to folks when people want to talk to me, obviously, and you know, we have the blog up, we have the Tumblr account, and you know, these opportunities are coming our way, and we're open to them and we're embracing them. But just to say that we, you know, are somehow sitting in meetings thinking about how we're, you know, strategizing how we're going to market the product, that's not happening. You know, because when we, you know, what we're doing right now is just trying to get the thing made. I think like the best thing I can say is that we put a lot of work into that trailer. I put a lot of work into the script, and we made sure we had all the avenues open. We had our Facebook page, we had our Twitter page, we have our Tumblr account. We're building our website right now so that people can, you know, potentially take part in contests and submissions, and we can provide T-shirts to people and all that kind of stuff. You know, but it's the audience that's driving it, to be honest with you.
Wow.
It's definitely our fans that are driving it at this point.
Okay. If you had something to say to an investor that might be listening, what would you say to that in particular investor about this particular movie and what you want to accomplish with it?
No, I think what we're trying to say is that I think it's obvious that there's a hunger, a thirst in terms of black films. I think it's been a really, really long time since a movie like this has been made. And obviously people are hungry for it. And it's not just something I can say because I'm a part of that audience. You know, I can point to our Indiegogo page, and I can point to our YouTube page, and I can point to our Tumblr and how rapidly, you know, people respond to the stuff that we post there. And say there really is an audience, and they're starving. They haven't gotten a movie for them in a really long time, a smart movie from a black perspective, you know, like this. They haven't gotten that in a while. And I feel like it's past time to really like bring back, you know, the adult black film. And I think that there's some great films from black filmmakers out there that we need to embrace. Middle of Nowhere is coming out in October by Ava DuVernay. You know, we all need to embrace that film when it comes out. It's brilliant, and it's, you know, for adult smart black people. And you know, we gotta support these movies. But yeah, I would say that I would say that the audience is there. They're primed. They're hungry. They're ready to go see it. I can't tell you how many times I get email or tweeted or Facebook like, when can we come see it? You know, we just want to see it. When's it opening? And I'm like, I don't know. When do we start shooting? I got to answer that question first.
Wow. Okay.
That's what I would say.
Now, do you guys have a proposal, perspective on this particular project yet? or it's still in the works?
Yeah. I mean, we're pretty ready to go, to be honest. We are, there's been a lot of interest based on the success of the trailer. And right now, it's just about listening to everybody that's coming to the table and seeing what the best opportunity is for the film. And I feel really good about landing a way to get the film made. So, if anybody is interested in being a part of that conversation, is right now.
And how can they reach out to you?
You can contact dearwhitepeoplemovie@gmail.com. That hits all the producers' emails. I'm sorry, that's dwpmovie@gmail.com. That's the exact email address. You can go to justinsimien.com. My contact information is there. And yeah, we're here. We're listening. We're all ears.
Yeah, you still taking contributions on Indiegogo?
We are. The Indiegogo campaign is over, but if you go to dearwhitepeoplemovie.com, you can continue to make a contribution, and we will continue to honor the perks that we were offering in our Indiegogo campaign.
Absolutely. Well, great. I really appreciate it, Justin. And if someone is out there who's interested in investing in this project, just go ahead and email you at
dwpmovie@gmail.com.
Well, Justin, thank you for coming on the program. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Okay, great. Thank you for listening to the Core Business Show. This is Tim Jacquet, your host. You can download the episode on iTunes or Blog Talk Radio. Everybody, have a great day.
Thank you for listening to the Core Business Show with Tim Jacquet. For a free quote on equipment leasing and financing, visit our website, applecapitalgroup.com. That's applecapitalgroup.com. And fill out the information to receive your free quote. We hope you'll join us for our next episode. And remember, you can always get to the core via iTunes. You'll find all our previous episodes there. Thanks again for listening to the Core Business Show with Tim Jacquet.